going on, Gromies? Welcome back to episode 2. Last time we left off, we went over all of the sexting results for all the plants. Now it's time that we're going to transplant all those because they really need to. And once we transplant them, they're going to boost up and they're going to start growing pretty quick here. So that being said, the G-Rides, we're going to transplant them in 3-gallon fabric pots, and then the Yoda Soda, they're going to go in 5-gallon pots, air pots. So we're going to be adding ProMix HP, about 70%, 20% of cocoa, and then probably about 10% of perlite to help with the aeration, and it helps for drainage as well, and it helps with the root development at the same time. We're also going to be adding some Kelp Meal, which is good in nitrogen, helps with the plants as well. And we're going to be giving some fishbone meal from Gaia Green and some all-purpose. I'm going to be feeding it bottled newts. The only reason why I'm adding Gaia Green is I'm not adding what they recommend. I'm actually going to add half of the dosage. But the reason why I'm doing that is when I feed bottled newts, I normally give newts, water. That's normally how I do it. So when you give it water, your plant is always feeding. It still has some of that feed left in the soil. So it's just constantly feeding. So I find I get good results like this, so I'm just going to keep going. And then as we grow it as well, you guys know we're going to be growing with the help of the T&B Natural CO2 enhancer. So with that being said, I'm not going to mix all this on video. I'll start pouring everything in there and then I'll come back. Alright, so here you go, guys. So this is my first batch. My tub's not that big, so I can probably do all 3 gallons with this. So I got about 70% of the HP soil with the mycorrhizae in it. I got about 10, 12%, maybe 15 of the Cana Coco. And then I got about 10% perlite. The mycorrhizae HP soil already has some in it, but I just always add extra just because I add cocoa, and it does help out your soil to for the roots and all that, right? So I always add that in there. You don't need to add it if you don't want to. And then I added a 1.5 cups of the Kelp Meal, a 1.5 cups of the Gaia Green all-purpose, 1 cup of the bone meal, just because it's really high in nitrogen, and I'll be giving it bottled feed. Well, bottled feed, it's really Floraflex, but so Floraflex is already pretty high in feed, so I am not going to add as much. And then I also added, which I forgot, excuse me one sec. Oh, I recommend using a mask when doing the perlite. Fucking gets right up there and makes you sneeze. Whew, probably not the best for you, but hey, it is what it is. And I forgot to mention that I do add warm castings. Now, I normally buy these bags. They're 3-liter bags. They're from Annalita, I guess you say it. I don't know. But it's a company-owned, it's a Canadian-owned company. And it's really good. Like, it's really fine, warm shit. So when I fill up my tub like this, I normally add 1 full 3-liter bag. It's not too much. Now, if you guys are going to feed like this, if you're going to add bottled newts or, you know, this type of water dissoluble, I can't say that goddamn word. Okay, it is what it is. If you want to add this type of feed, you know, just make sure that you don't add too much of the dried amendments in your soil, because you don't want to make your soil too hot, because if it's too hot, then you add the bottled newts, you'll just burn the shit out of your plants. So I always add like probably less than half of what they recommend. So because it's 2 to 3 tablespoons per gallon, and I didn't even add 1. So I find so 1.5 cup equals to 24 tablespoons. So I could probably add another, I don't know, 2 cups in there, and the plants would be fine if I would just add regular water. So that is how I'm going to be mixing it. So we'll go ahead, mix it, and then we'll come back after and look at it after it's all done. All right, so there it is. It's all mixed up. Ready? Just make sure you take your time when you mix, guys. It's a pretty big tub, pretty full, right? So I take about, I don't know, 10 minutes to mix it. I make sure, try to break up every clump, right? Because you don't want clumps. See, there's one here. So just try to break them up. Feel them as you go, because you don't want clumps in your pot, because it'll just create air pockets, and that's not good for your roots. So that being said, some people will let this cook for a week. They'll moist it, add a little bit of water. One of the reasons why I add Cana Coco, it's because when it's in the bag, it's moist. So there's enough moisture in here that you don't need to add extra water. You can if you want to, that's fine. But some people will let it cook for about a week. I got recently asked this question in a recent video, how long I normally let it cook for. Typically, I'll just let it cook for like 2 to 3 days. That's all it really needs. After 2 to 3 days of cooking, you'll open up your lid and you're gonna see, like a little bit of like fungus here and there. That's just the microbials doing what they're supposed to be doing. Don't worry about it. Don't let it sit there for like a couple months, because then I find it's not good. But I find 2 to 3 days is more than enough time. So for the microbials to start breaking up and all that. So that being said, guys, I am going to be putting the lid on this bad boy. Let's put that on. There we go. And it pops back out like usual, because I tend to put too much soil. Anyway, I'll close it up properly once I close this video off. But all right, guys, I'm not gonna be showing plants this week. This video here was just about, I just wanted to take some time, show you guys how I properly mix my soil, just because I add bottled newts, right? So just wanted to make a video because I got noticed that the last video, for some fucking reason, the volume on my music when I uploaded it just went fucking skyrocket and you can't hear shit. So I thought I would redo it, right? So here you go. This is how I do it. So this is how I mix it with Pro Mix HP, with the mycorrhizae, the Cana Coco, the Perlite, the Gaia Green, T&B Naturals. If you guys don't already follow them, go ahead, give them a subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, guys, and hit that thumbs button. So until next video, peace out, keep growing, keep smoking, peace.